All right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome our Spotify audience, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, Twitter, Yahoo. We got a bunch of stuff going on with YouTube right now. We got a bunch of stuff going on in, of course, Facebook land. And check out everything on Amazon Music. You can basically tune into your favorite dial, listen to your favorite platform, pull us up, and we're broadcast big and loud on the NSC Roadshow. So make sure you look for us there. Tonight, we're going to have a lot of fun because I'm bringing in a personal friend of mine, and that's always even better. We met Paul a long time ago when he first came out with his first book, and we're happy to say that Inked was there to help bring him into the comic book world, and we're really happy about that. And so we just keep watching him grow with each book, and we're definitely going to talk about some of the artists he has involved and some of the other things he's got coming. But it's just fun to watch somebody come into the market and just start to grow. And that's what we're here for. So again, tonight's going to be about Mr. Paul Gomez. We're going to be talking about his book, The Cryptic Maze, and then talk about some of the other books that he's doing and maybe some of the other stuff he's got coming up. And we'll kind of tune into that. But without further ado, let's go ahead and, do like we do and get this party started. All right, you are tuned into Comic Camaraderie Podcast Live, and the reason we say live is because it's a lot of fun. Because it's kind of crazy to go live, right? There is 850,000 active podcasts right now, which is a staggering number. It's getting closer to 1 million every day. If it already hadn't busted through 1 million, out of that 1 million or so, or 850 to 1 million, there is only 20% that go live. As far as when I say live, I'm talking about full. Studio stuff, interaction, that kind of stuff. And even out of that small bunch, so that's 20% of people do visual like we do. You boil that number down even smaller, and that's what actually go on full tilt live. And that's what we do. We have a lot of fun doing it. And the only time we really even edit is if somebody slips in an F-bomb, Other than that, we try to pretty much keep the show like it is, raw and fun. I grew up with Johnny Carson and that whole live interaction. That's what we have fun for. The whole thing's comic camaraderie, right? It's all about camaraderie and having fun with the comic group. So that's what we're here for. And we want to kind of run through a little bit of sponsorship right now, and then we'll get the party started. Right off the bat, as I mentioned, tune into the NSC Roadshow. And if you just go to nscroadshow.com, you can pull that up and tune into all the different comic podcasts there. So when you pull up that site, you'll go right to this page right there. You'll be able to jump on and start seeing what's going on. Also, too, we want to make sure that you know that we're brought to you by Ink Studios. And Ink Studios is bringing you the best in campaigns from all over the world. We're operating right now we've done 10 different countries in 5 different continents. We're talking with the 6th continent right now, so that's pretty exciting right there. I don't think anybody's hanging out in Antarctica, so I don't think we'll make 7. So sorry to disappoint people there, but 7's going to be a stretch. So make sure, you click on Ink.marketing. When you get there, you'll see all the different groups that we've been having a chance to be the marketing arm for. So we've had over 50 successful campaigns. We're rocking and rolling, and you're about to see the road to 75. So be sure you tune into that. We'd also like to tell you we're sponsored by Voodoo Comics. So be sure to look for that label coming out. There's already 5 or 6 books on that label ready to come out there for you. A couple more we want to talk about is Amerikaiju. Amerikaiju is a proud sponsor of NSC Roadshow and Comic Camaraderie. Their book is open there right now. If you go to inkedpub.com, you can see all that book and what's going on there. And we'll talk about it a little bit later in the show. And last but not least, we're also sponsored by Super Serious Comics. So you'll be able to check them out on the show as well. And so all the fun things that they're doing. And this tonight is going to be about this book right here. It's going to be about Cryptic Maze. Cryptic Maze, right out of the gate, has already got a Projects We Love underneath its belt, which I believe is and Paul can correct me when he comes on, the second or third. I know he's got at least one under his belt before then, but it might be the second or third. We'll have to double check with him. And then this makes the 11th one for Inked as being a partner with. So that's a lot of big fun. We're real excited for him. It's a really good book. And without further ado, let's go ahead and bring on the man of the hour. And I do apologize for you viewing audience. My beard is going crazy right now because I've had it under a mask most of the day, so I'm fighting it, trying to pull it back down. So it's been kind of a wild day all the way around. So I'm not gonna lie. So without further ado, let's bring on Paul.
Hello, everybody. How you doing?
Hello, hello. What's going on in the land of Texas?
Man, just making comic books, getting everything put together, running a campaign, and enjoying life.
That's good though, man. That's it's exciting to see this. Like I said, this campaign, get up and run and transpire, and you're right out of the gate. You've only been in it a couple of days, and you're already 50% funded. So that never hurts anybody's feelings.
That's right. And we've had a few bumps along the line. I need to add some add-ons and stuff like that to kind of get everyone excited. I didn't exactly get my tiers corrected before everything hit, but we're looking forward to the campaign, and we did just start, and we have hit 50% and projects we love. So we're doing a good start.
Yeah, like I said, that's a good one to get under your belt. And was I right there in the? Is it two or three of the projects we love that you guys have got under your belt so far?
I've gotten three. I
Three.
put
Okay.
PTSD into an anthology, which actually got one. Then
Okay.
Bushibu, and now this one. Yeah.
Gotcha. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And speaking of PTSD, I did break this out ahead of the show, and everybody that knows me that watches the show knows I'm a big art junkie, being an artist myself. So I'm going to kind of maybe fight the light a little bit on this, and I can always turn it off if need be. You know what? Which I think I'm going to do real quick. Hang on, we're going to pop that. Okay, got studio light off right now. Here is.
I can't see you.
There you go. There's this is an original piece, original page from San Espinina, the artist, and it's the same artist that did Cryptic Maze as well. So love this piece. It's my favorite page of the whole book, and it's always nice to be able to get a page out of the book that we helped market. So
and it is that second page. Look at that beautiful page. Came from that original piece that he has right there, and it's just such a unique paneling that he does, and his beautiful coloring, and his inks that are nice and gritty. I mean, you just gotta love his work.
This style is very popular right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this actual page, and then I've got a couple extras of the book. I'm going to actually cut one of the pages out of the book and mount it in another frame and mat it with the original page beside it. So you'll have the colored page sitting up there along with that one. So I just want to break that out and kind of show off some of Sam's artwork real quick. And Sam, I talk to him from time to time as well, and he talks about he's always getting confused with Jason Momoa. And I should have
long flowing hair.
Yeah, I should have grabbed a picture before the show because he really does. He looks like he's like Momoa's younger brother or something. But he that's not a bad person, I guess, to get confused with. So
right.
We he has a lot of fun with that. He was telling me, but it's good. I mean, it's always fun to talk with all the different artists and all over the world and see what they're up to. But lots of good talent out there, and San's definitely one of them. So I like a lot of the stuff, a lot of the panels he laid out in this one as well.
And the thing about San is, like, whenever I was on PTSD, I had written the script before I had met him, and so I felt like he was a little more handcuffed with the script and the details in it. With this one, it seems he's like a little bit more freer, and because I had gotten a chance to get to know him throughout PTSD, that I felt I could open it up a little bit more as to that effect, where he could actually use his unique talents just a little bit more than he did in PTSD.
Nice. Yeah. And as you guys do projects together, that relationship would just grow and flow, and there'll be a lot more, like I said, back and forth to it and being able to do that kind of stuff. Awesome. Was there so again, in the career is the first one was PTSD right out of the gate, and then Bushibu, and then the anthology, and then now to Cryptic Maze.
Right.
And you're building towards more books coming out, right? When do you suppose that the PTSD number 2 is going to follow up? When do you think that for listeners out there, when that's going to happen?
Well, actually, PTSD is a one shot.
Okay.
So there's not going to be any more of that. Bushibu 2, because that's my second book that came out, is slated for not my next book, but the book after that. So right now we're on Cryptic Haze, and then we're going to go to Prelude, which is a working title in progress, then back to Bushibu 2.
Gotcha. Yeah. Really. Let's throw up again real quick. This is the artwork for Cryptic Haze that I really just dialed into. The main image that you've been seeing on the screen is this one right here.
Right.
That says a lot about the book. Just just with that one piece of that one panel, which is one of the cover images. So
Yes, by Santa Spina.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it really says a lot about the book. I think that gritty style, of course, really comes through in this, and the coloring is just just spot on. I really like the way he did the coloring. It again, just with that little bit, it's enough to get it going. So uh, I just want to show that again real quick to those just tuning in. And it looks like Mike is now hanging out in the green room. He was able to tune in, and let's bring him on and see what's going on. There you go.
Yeah. What's happening?
How you doing?
That's a lot of good fun. You're gonna
That's Limitless Raptor.
Oh, there you go. You're gonna have to gotta run around and scare the kids in the mall with that,
It's more prosthetic, but my beard's getting in the way. So
oh, you see, that's what I was saying. I had to comb. I was trying to get mine to lay down. It's been in a mask all day, and like I said, my wife got me some really nice beard stuff, and it stays nice and defined until I put on a mask. And when you put on a mask, you can't wear it.
yeah.
It's like, is that chloroform? I mean, it smells great. It just you can't put it in a mask. It's
my
just,
4-year-old's been having me chase him around with that. So
oh yeah, there you go.
That's
well,
awesome.
That's what you got to do. See, my kids and I were always the ones that you would see in Walmart playing with lightsabers and throwing, like rubber balls at each other and chasing each other with Nerf guns. And yeah, we're that group.
Yeah, I pick up my 5-year-old, and me and him are always running to the car, and everyone's always looking at us because I'm like up there trying to push him back, and he's trying to push me back.
Well,
yeah.
You go, hey kid, give me back my wallet. Just run after him. Whose kid is this? There's a video I saw.
Guys believe. See, son, look what you did. No, sir, I'm talking about you. Oh, me? What?
Yeah. I saw a video one day where a lady's sitting there and she goes, "Oh my God, whose kid is that? How could they let? Oh my God, that's mine!" She jumps up and she runs from the thing. That reminded me of when my parents had me on vacation. God, I was probably 10 or 11, and we were in Florida, and I was an adventurous little kid. So when the tide started going down, me and another little kid that was at the little complex there we wandered out through the little bit of where the tide had gone down and up onto a sandbar. When we were probably 50 yards out there, and but we didn't think about the tide coming in. You don't think about that stuff when you're like 10, 11 years old. And we're neck deep, and we're digging with our feet, pulling up sand dollars, and trying to collect them back. Well, of course, we're already neck deep, and it took neck deep wading out to the sandbar, and the tide started coming in. And my mom was the same thing. She's like, "Who would let their kids? Oh my God!" Yeah. When I saw that video, I just had to kind of reminisce for a second and got that great reminder from my childhood. But no, it's fun to be able to interact like that. I'm sure. And then of course, Paul's real engaged with his kids. He's bringing them to Comic-Con and stuff. So
yeah, they helped me create one of my books. I mean, they helped me throw around ideas. They helped me with the videos and the campaign. They're in it all. Yeah.
Hey, your oldest was dressing as the moniker to your Bushy Boo Mystery Circus at the last Comic-Con. Yeah, it was actually the Fan Expo in New Orleans.
They love it. I mean, he got to create a mini lightsaber while I was working half the time, and he was running around and just kind of bringing people in and showing them the book whenever I wasn't there myself. So I mean, they love it. Yeah.
I got Anthony Mackie.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. New Orleans native right there, man. He pulls a big show, pulls a big show every time he goes somewhere. But again, born and raised in New Orleans. But I got to send you a video I found one of someone that has literally come up with the technology to make a real lightsaber. And the thing's crazy. And they show how the making of it. First thing, there's these huge battery packs, and he's got it to where he's got a battery pack on his back. It still weighs a lot, but it powers it, and he can melt through different steel and other things with it now.
Wow.
That's a lot of charge going through that thing. It's ridiculous. Your kids will love it when I show the video. It's good times.
The HP Lovecraft route.
Oh,
not the energy crystal route.
Man, if you and if he's into lightsabers and stuff too, like most of us are, go to this is for everybody out there. Go to Hobby Lobby right now, and they actually have a panel. It's about this wide, and Darth Vader has his lightsaber to the side, and wherever you stand in the room, if you stand, it lights up.
Oh yeah,
and then you turn, it lights back down. It's a cool image, and It's something I got.
Actually ran into a group of gentlemen at the small con where I picked up those Motu figures for you.
Oh yeah, yeah.
There was a small group of actually they have the 501st Legion.
Okay.
There was a small group of Jedis.
Oh
and
wow.
They pulled us aside and they were like, "Hey man, you're interested in learning how to Jedi fight?" And I was like, I mean, I kind of do that in my spare time sometimes when I'm thinking about it. And it's like, yeah, we're doing this every Sunday. They get together and they teach kids and adults how to like actually perform the techniques of the Jedis.
Oh wow.
Their group is building a forum to take to the Olympic Committee to make Jedi lightsaber fighting an Olympic sport. And I thought that was so cool. I didn't get a chance. I ended up having to come back down here, but I'm looking for a group down here on the coast that'd be interested in doing that. Because I don't know if you know this, but in the UK, lightsaber dueling is
big. It's a big deal.
It's a huge thing out there. They do this at expos. They draw on crowds. There's somebody out there that's mastered the double lightsaber, the one that Darth Maul has. So profoundly. I mean, he could be like a double in a Star Wars film with him in it.
You back where I'm from, their big thing is kind of like all the medieval time stuff.
Yeah.
So which is so reminiscent to me of the whole Monty Python stuff. But anyway, I love medieval time stuff. There's medieval restaurants, but there's a group, like you said, that get together and they medieval fight. And my son did it for a while. And they make all their own armor, they make all their own weapons, and they just get out there, kind of like Civil War reenactments, right? They which we followed a few of those. So always good stuff, man.
It's a contact sport though. Like in the UK, it's actually a sport. Like you could break bones.
Oh yeah,
it's like a huge chivalry battle royale. Like bring your best armor and your best weapon. You sign an NDA for health waivers.
Yeah, well, that's like there's also back where I'm from, trick shooting is a big thing on horseback. To these Wild West reenactments, and they do try to shoot things on horseback and all kind of we do a lot of crazy stuff. But also too, from leading up to your books though. So what kind of sparked going ahead and putting stuff together for Cryptic Haze? What was there a defining moment that kind of may say, you know what, this is kind of playing off, I could do something with this?
Well, the funny thing about it is, it's talking about a divorce and a guy who's down on his luck. And a lot of people, whenever I start telling them that, they think about my story. But it was actually one of my best friend's story. He was really down on his luck at the time, and he was started going through a divorce right after I did. And I was trying to explain to him, you got to find a distraction. The one hardest thing whenever you're down and out, and no matter where or what it is, divorce, money loss, dealing with problems, find a distraction to help you get yourself out of that rut. And whenever I was talking to him and helping him over like a week or a month, I think it was, the story kind of came to me, and it was like, what would he do if he could, change everything at a drop of a dime? But I mean, there would have to be consequences, and that's where the story really came from.
I think a lot of us know what we could do if we had mind powers to our ex, but that's a whole different episode. So we'll glaze right over that real quick. But I think all of us kind of if we had a mind trick that we could do, I think we'd all kind of maybe take a different path. But
that's actually what this story is actually talking about, what he would do to his ex. And it kind of leads up to that. And then right around that time frame, there's two big twists and turns, and that's what the story really is all about.
Yeah. Well, that's and that's why I kind of set that up that way, because knowing what I know about the story, and I know what like I said, a lot of people would do, but this is Scott's version of what he would do.
Yeah.
In this situation.
Different.
Yeah. But to each his own. That's how that works. And then what is probably, as far as Scott himself go, what is something you probably pull from the backstory that would kind of be something that people probably wouldn't pick up on? He said he's going through a divorce. He's kind of got a situation going on. He's trying to work through it. But what's something that's probably maybe not written into the first one that may be hinting maybe down the road? Because this is going to be, like I said, PTSD was a one shot, and this one's going to be, explored further.
and this is going to be a 3-issue deal. I wanted to make 3 issues because it kind of went along the lines of one of my favorite stories. A classic is Monkey's Paw.
Mm-hmm.
In Monkey's Paw, there were 3 wishes, and whenever you made wishes, they came around supernaturally, but they also changed to a point where they weren't exactly what you were asking for. I
Right.
mean, and that's kind of what this leads to. I mean, at the end of this one, it kind of gives you an effect, but you don't know where it's coming from, and that's kind of the road where the other 2 are going to go on from there. The
Monkey's Paw,
the
that was an Edgar Allan Poe story, huh?
no, I'm not sure if it was Edgar Allan Poe or not. I think it was. I can't
I
remember,
think it's
but
been redone a couple times. I don't know who the original was either, but I think
yeah,
it's
but
been
I mean,
kind of rehashed a
Ed,
little bit.
Edgar Allan Poe was one of my favorites. I mean, I
Oh
used to
yeah.
read his stuff like hours, days, and weeks and months.
Oh, he taught Stephen King everything he knew.
and, and the fact, I've talked about it before that I had dyslexia. Most of his stories are shorter,
Yeah.
and he wrote poems and stuff as well that were dark, and it kind of led to that. The reason that I favored him because those stories were that short.
It's his life itself, like a lot of stuff he's pulled from. It was W. Jacobs was the original
Yeah.
author. I
Yeah,
had to
there
look that
you
up
go.
real quick.
1902 in England.
So
Yeah,
there's the educational part of the show. We always jokingly say there's some safety aspects, there's some educational aspects, and there you go. W. Jacobs in
I
1902.
used to love Charles Dickinson, which is older stuff as well. So that
Yep.
whenever I read Monkey's Paw, it kind of drew me into it as well. It was Monkey's Paw and the Dangerous Game. Have y'all ever heard
Mm-hmm.
of that?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, huge fan of that.
Yep.
And to me, it's something about those kind of thriller type stories that you just don't see that much every day.
No. What
And
what what I liked about the stuff with Stephen King is when we were living in Colorado, we actually went up to the hotel that's the inspiration behind
oh yeah,
so it was
Psycho,
the Stephen King, the one with the hotel
the
where
hotel, yeah,
Jack Nicholson goes in there and he sees the 2
yeah,
twins. Remember the 2
Shining,
creepy
yeah,
twins, The Shining?
Shining, yeah.
Shining,
So we went to the hotel where he stayed at for The Shining. In other words,
yeah,
he basically the same setup's the same. He went over there, was going somewhere else. A storm came in. He had to pull into the hotel that was down for the winter, which all that's true. And he stays there. We've actually been to the room that he stayed in, which is kind of cool. And what's funny is I got to put it up in the on one of our guest rooms. But I've got one of the room numbers that they sell in the
oh
gift shop that for the same room number that he stayed in, because they kept ripping it off the wall. They had to start selling them in the gift shop because people kept taking their pocket knife
yeah,
and popping it right off the door. And so they decided to sell them. But that hotel is creepy enough as it is. But the hotel they shot in is not that one, but that is the one he stayed at in Estes Park, I believe it is. And it's the stuff about the ghost and all that stuff is real. The talking to the bartender, that's something he did, and he was trading the bartender stories for drinks. And we've been in the bar that they talked about and stuff. And so a lot of that stuff he pulled exactly from that book. So, and his
right,
experiences. I love it when people draw and stuff like that. You're drawing on experiences from someone into this book. I always love it when you
yeah.
take that aspect and bring it into a creation like that. So,
Well, one of the things I always heard was, draw or write what you know, and if you are writing something that's so close to you, then you're putting yourself into that book. The main thing that I got from Stephen King was he always used to say, don't just write one project, because you're
yeah,
going to get stumped here. Go ahead and write a few extra so you can kind of gravitate back and forth. And that's what it seemed like whenever I started writing Bushibu. That's what happened because Bushibu was my first script, but it got stalled so many times that I ended up writing one called Flame and then PTSD right back to back.
mm-hmm.
And then it led into Cryptic Haze and then a few others that me and Mike have talked about that are just jumped in there and jumped onto the paper.
Yeah, that's what it.
Stephen King has a technique, and he writes a page a day or 500 words, and when he
Yeah.
gets stumped, he puts it in a drawer and he leaves it there for
Yep.
3 days to a week, and then he comes back and he works on it and looks at it with fresh eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Walk
It's a
away
good
from the
technique.
concept. Yeah.
One of the techniques that I did whenever I was working on Flame, which was right before PTSD, I was destined to get it finished before I started PTSD. I just tied myself to a chair. And I've heard about this college trick before. I've never done it before, but I was like, I'm going to tie myself to this chair and I'm not going to start on PTSD, even though it was in my head, until I finish this Flame book. And I finished that one, gave it to my editor, and then he loved it. Absolutely loved it. And I said, but you got to read this one. You got to read PTSD. And then whenever he did, he was like, oh yeah, you've definitely got to put that in a book. So we ended up going with PTSD, which came out first.
See, Paul's got an interesting past. He's been tied up to chairs in college, so
yeah,
he's got some things to pull from there. So yeah. Well, but yeah, there's always all kind of stuff, man. To whatever gets you in the groove and whatever keeps you going as far as creativity goes. Let's if you can, Mike, if you would while you're pulling, can you pull up the Kickstarter and we'll pull it in, and when he pulls up the Kickstarter, we'll kind of just Brady bunch off to the side for a second, and we'll kind of run through it, and you can talk about the tiers, talk about some of the special things. One of the original pages is already sold, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. And there's how many more pages are you offering? Original pages in the offering?
From Cryptic Haze, I got 4 more, so it's 5 total, and they got the first page out there, and they're so beautiful. So there's still 4 more of those, and I might have an original or 2 from PTSD that might sneak its way up there. I'm not exactly sure.
Well, I'm loving mine, so it's I can't wait till, like I said, I've got it in that frame right now as a protector, and then like I said, I'm going to go ahead and get it reframed. I always, like you can see, excuse me, you can always see the posters. I'll go ahead and pull from the colors of the book. Same thing I'm going to do here. The double matting is going to pull from coloring that Sam came up with. So it's gonna be cool. The interesting part about I always love seeing the original pieces because you can see all the intricacy in there. You can see the the white paper, the pen and inks. You can see where they took white out and moved over some lines and adjusted things, and you can always see that kind of exactly that rawness to the book is what's fun.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to add it in. And again, we're off to the sides.
I have desk friend. He keeps interrupting.
See, you got Mickey's voice going there from, whoa, check that out. Whoa. That's craziness. Now that is really, there you go. Whoa. That's exactly what that is right there, man. Awesome.
Names to ourselves. What's up with that? All right, I go back.
The House of Mirrors. So, which that actual image, guys, that we're playing around with, it's one of the covers. So that's a cool way to play off that. So yeah, just
I used to hate these things when I was little, man. The little games like this with the ball in it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Even though it was easy to manipulate, if you played it honestly, it was really hard.
I love that.
You want me to hit the play button?
What movie is that they actually take that game and they said you're a genius if you can solve it in a few seconds, and he looks at it and he spins it on the table and all the 4 balls go to the 4 corners. Oh God, what movie is that? You know what I'm talking about. There's a movie that the kid just looks at it and they said, if you're a genius and you can solve this in under a few seconds, you can it's War Games. It took me a second.
Yeah.
If you ever saw that movie War Games, which is an older John Lithgow show, based on a kid making a bomb for a science project in school. That's what he does. He just sits there and spins it and shows he's a genius. So yeah, if you want to hit the play button, this is a video that Paul and his son put together. So you guys check it out.
What would you do if your life was shattered by the one you loved the most? Follow writer Paul Gomez on his dark vision of Fantasy Island with a twist. What would you ask for? What would you do with the power of the mountain? On Scott's darkest day, he answers those questions, deals with the consequences of his actions. San Espina's unique art presents Cryptic Haze. It's not always what it seems.
Through the haze.
So I'm
That
sure you
last
had a lot of
part
fun.
video, that was me.
Now I got to throw a shout out to my son because he put his voice on there.
Good deal. Yeah, it's always fun to see some, father-son project stuff going on. So yeah, let's go ahead and just take us through, and we're going to kind of run through the imagery itself, and you kind of talk about the titles and stuff. You talk about the different covers out there, who did the covers, that kind of thing. We've already kind of set it up and talked about the origin of, but yeah, just go ahead and just run through and let's talk it out, man.
So Cryptic Haze, like I said, we're following a guy who's kind of down on his luck. He goes out there and he finds this show that's kind of making a deal with him, and he goes and finds this person who's called the Professor, and trying to see if he can change his luck around. And what the Professor offers him, he decides to take up and see if it works. And that's kind of where it kind of goes.
What a swindler.
And here's Jeff's cover coming up. So
I like this.
Jeff Mute's cover, yeah. I mean, he did such a great job with that cover for PTSD that I had to go back and see if he'd do the same thing, and it looks beautiful to me. I mean, that third eye right there, and then that, those unique colors on there, it's just amazing.
And the face. Did you see the face? It looks like a galaxy, but it's actually a face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very, very awesome. Awesome wording too. It's pretty dope. Oh, there's that.
And then you got
endless mirrors.
Aaron Williamson's, the Memento homage cover. He did such a great job of kind of capturing what Memento had in its poster with my characters in it.
Yeah,
he looks so much better on this cover. Like the face, like I don't know. And then in the book, he looks like he's got a lot of acne. It's almost like, yeah, man, like we understand why she left. Like, get up and wash your face. Throw your trash away.
Well, that's what we were talking about on a couple shows ago. We were talking about the fact that it's. Go ahead. Yeah, Sand's cover is just that's my favorite.
Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it?
I just keep going back to that image. That to me is my favorite. I mean, I love Jeff work. Don't get me wrong. And I mean, I actually like both, but I really this to me says a lot about what's going on with the story.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and just by looking at it, you know that you're in for something that's perplexing, as opposed to, the beautiful art that the other ones have. That's exactly what it captures. Yeah.
All right.
So I'm like one way out.
And how much time is left? Have they surpassed are they past the 48-hour special? Are they missed out on that yet or no? We got some time left on that.
Yes. The 48-hour special is over. That one captured both the PTSD and the Cryptic Haze, both of Jeff Mute. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we are going to have some specials that are going to come up sooner or later.
Go back to the interior shots real quick. Back up. I love that interior shot in the center right there. Again, that just kind of shatters everything.
Right.
That's another. Is he going to offer that piece out as an original art, or is that one going to be that's something he hasn't offered out yet?
No, that isn't something that he's mentioned offering out. Like I said, I got the first 5 pages of PTSD, and then the first 5 pages of this one. Me and him haven't exactly talked about any other pages yet.
Gotcha.
But yeah, that is a beautiful, beautiful piece.
Yeah. That's one of my other favorite pages.
So we
So
need
a
to
lot
show
of
up at his house with some green. Be like, here, give me the page.
yeah, that's he make it. Was it an offer you can't refuse, as they say?
Take Groku, back you up.
Yes, this is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way.
So yeah, those but a lot of good tiers. Like I said, that you know, the digital packages in there that you can get if you want to kind of sample some of the other works. That's always a good way to go. You kind of check them out. And then so we got Jeff's for 10. They all the each of them. Let's see, Jeff's is 10, and then Aaron's I believe is 10 as well, right? Yeah.
Right.
Look at these, so affordable. Get your butts to Kickstarter. Support this. You want this. At least that's kind of. I kind of want all of them.
Then we're gonna have Jeff's cover in foil edition. That's gonna be for
That's
right
gonna
there.
be killer. That's gonna be a killer cover in foil.
Yeah.
Are you gonna metal it as well, or are you just gonna foil one?
I'm sorry?
Are you gonna do one in metal as well, or just foil? Because a lot of people
Just
start doing
foil
metal
for right now.
covers. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I hadn't exactly explored the whole how to do the metal and costs and all that good stuff. I do want to do some sooner or later, but right now we're just going to do foil.
Gotcha. That'd be one to explore later. If when you get into the other issues, that kind of imagery, that kind of when Jeff does another cover for you, that'd be something to take a look at.
Yeah.
I'll sponsor a metal Jeff cover.
Yeah.
That'd be killer.
They would glisten.
Yes.
Could you imagine that PTSD one that he did as metal? That red.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
We might have to do a revisit to the one shot on that one or something. We might have to explore that opportunity. And then you can pick up the 3-packs, which is awesome. You can get right in, jump right in there and get there's the one you want there, right, Mike? There's your 3-pack cover, and you get the first 3. So
That's right. PTSD, Cryptic Haze, and Bushibu Circus Mystery. So you get to sample all of my different library that's out at the moment.
It's got to be awesome to say, man. Library now. It used to just be one book. Now it's down to library.
Yeah. When we met him, how many months ago? 6 months ago when we met him, he didn't have anything on the table, and now he's got 3. So
yeah.
Coming to the table with some stuff.
Oh yeah. Throwing it down now.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's the next one. I think is when you were wanting is the A, B, and C. Yeah, there you go. 3-packs, double signed A, B, and C.
Ooh,
and
signed.
It's going to be the A, the cover that's signed right there. If you read the details, it's actually just my Jeff's cover that's going to be signed by me and him.
Gotcha.
I couldn't exactly get with the other artists. Of course, Sand's kind of harder to get his signature sent back and forth kind of thing.
Take about 6 months.
Yeah, right.
Well, I thought about shipping him the original piece. I got to talk with him about that I've got sitting here and see if he'll sign it and ship it back. So,
yeah, and then there's that one that's sold right there. That beautiful first page. Look at that.
It's a great page.
It's like everybody's first apartment right there. That's that kind of look,
Only he's the worst at his point in his life.
Yeah, he's flicking that ring on the ground. He's pretty much had it.
Yeah,
looking up on life and showers and food.
Well, that's pretty much everybody's vision of COVID right now, man. I mean, hygiene went out the window. You could show up at the store and people are there in flip flops and their pajamas. You're like, okay, could you not? I mean, come on, man. You're still going to the store.
It's like when your employer is like, you can't go to the bathroom right now. You have a line of customers. Check them out. All right, I can't go to the bathroom over there. I'll go to the bathroom right here.
It's craziness out there, man. I could literally, and nobody. My wife and I were talking about this yesterday, and we were talking about it again with one of the clients we were meeting with last night. That I've really had a want to write a book about the flying experience during COVID, but nobody would buy it. I'd just be writing it to get it out. I would just have to write it for the experiences that we've had and some of the craziness in airports. But again, nobody wants to be reminded of that, so it's not going to be a bestseller. But I just got to maybe write it to get it out of my head.
Sure, it would be. It'd be right up there with a bunch of other biopics that don't deserve to be in the top 10.
It would be up there in the rankings of E.T. the Atari game. Okay, it would just
it would trigger a liberal at the TSA. They'd be like, "Flag Kevin" every time he flies.
Dude, I think that happens anyway. Well, actually, more so my wife than me. Okay, this is okay. In this dark days, we'll kind of hold it here for a second. We're talking about dark days. We'll go to the airport, and I'll show up with a military bag packed to the gills, and she'll show up with a bag with literally the true story. Showed up with a bag with ice cream cones on it. Which of the two bags do you think they pulled and searched and did the pat down for? The military bag loaded to the gills, or the bag with the ice cream cones on it? Which one do you think they would
I'm
pull?
gonna go with the Men in Black answer here. The ice cream cones.
Ice cream cones.
That's exactly what they did. And then when I was flying back, when I went to go check my dad and flew back, same bag, set it down, and they run it through the scanner. And I'm the first person in line, and there's like 40 people already behind me. It's early in the day. They scan it through. Step to the side, sir. I'm like, oh God, here we go. They pull out 3 charger cords out of the bag. Charger cords and my charger stuff for the laptops. I got 2 different laptops with me. They go, we've got to scan the. First he goes, can I open this bag? Is nothing going to cut me? Didn't you just run it through X-Way? Did you not see? Is there like a pack of knives in there or something that's going to get you? Or needles maybe? Did you see anything? He's like, I just got to ask that question. I was like, look, man, I've got top secret access and military ID stuff out there. What do you need to say? And I'm like, here's badge. There's nothing in that bag, okay? And he opens it up, and he's carefully going through it, and I feel kind of like Scott at this point. I'm having a dark day, and he gets down to it and he pulls out these charge cords, and he goes, I've got to run these through separately. It's a charge cord. What am I going to? So he literally runs the bag back through without the charge cords, and then runs the charge cords separately. Now you tell me, guys, you think you're going to get a different answer by all in one bag or the bag and the separate cords? No, nothing different. And it was worse for my wife though. A couple flights before, because they took everything out of her bag. They found a snack bag in there, and like trail mix stuff, kind of stuff. They literally scanned it to make sure there was no residue on it, and then they pulled her to the side, and then they took everything out of her bag, and then just shoved all her stuff back at her. Here you go, pack it yourself. Anyway, so I felt like Scott on many a day in the airport. So that's I can identify with a bad day from those couple of stories. So this is a page I like too. I like the zero. There were zeros in.
Yeah. And that room that's half lit and half dark.
Exactly.
It's just amazing the way he does things.
Yeah. His shadowing is so solid and so strong.
Right.
And then what's
I didn't know you could do circle panels.
Yeah.
Well, I like the PTSD. I liked the hospital sign panel.
Oh yeah.
That was that hospital, that medical symbol panel was really cool. His way he does sequentials is really it moves you through the page.
And so here you got the professor and you got Scott. So like I say, I'm a huge comic book fan, and X-Men were one of my favorites. And you got Professor X, and then Scott Summers.
Now, is he in this story? Is he a professor? You've also alluded to that he's kind of a salesman, or is he kind of a professor with the salesman kind of allure about him?
Well, I figured he was kind of like a DJ jockey. They call them doctors sometimes, and even though they're not, he kind of just carries that about him. Gotcha.
Like what was that? What's that old movie with Dr. Detroit? When he was, that's what it makes me remind me of, Dr. Detroit. All right, what we got on this?
Looks like a Nixon car salesman. I would have ran away.
He's got kind of Scott kind of looks like Jim Morrison from The Doors too. So he's kind of that.
Like, nobody wants your Watergate scandal. I like that one.
Yeah, they got a lot going on there. So so the first 5 pages, the first one's gone. So 4 more left, guys. If you guys want original piece of art, and like I said, I personally can say having one of Sans pieces is really a treasure, because it's a vibrant, strong, solid lines. That rough style. It's not a new style, but that style is coming back. That roughed out look to it.
And I tell people all the time, I don't know where my career is going to go, but if you look at Sand's work, if you look at his embodiment of work, not just PTSD and Cryptic Haze, but man, if you could see all the stuff that he's done, he's definitely going to be going. I know a lot of people that are asking about him right now.
Yeah,
Yeah, you never know who's going to be the next artist at DC or Marvel, and having an original piece of art like this could pay you dividends in the future.
Oh yeah, and his work on like superhero stuff, so clean and crisp as compared to what this is.
right. Oh, he's got
I
a
was
variation
shocked.
of style. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
when you see the differences that he can do, I thought about also too talking about maybe doing a commission or two about something. So just to kind of get
yeah,
different samples of what he can do, and like I said, I'm again an art junkie as far as that goes. I've got a whole stack of them sitting here beside me that I'm getting framed as I in between things, and the one that's one of my favorite pieces is the one from Monty Michael Moore, and that was from the original Local Hero #1 book. So I was very excited to be able to get one of those pages as well. So a lot of the books that again are #1 books that are sitting right here. So that's just Sam was another one in the collection. I was just happy to get a piece of. And Paul made that happen.
yeah. And then we got that meet and greet. That's
Yep.
For a low price of $5.99, I will go to your town, bring all of the books that I've had printed. That's every single issue, every cover. Again, I'll sign them right there in front of you. Not only that, but you'll be able to read the script from the next book that's coming out. So
Nice.
you'll have that extra script, and it'll be signed before anybody else actually reads it, other than my editors and whatnot. And for $5.99, there's a few other things that are thrown in there as well, including helping design a cover for Bushibu 2.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Put your little fingerprint on it. That's awesome. Now, what if they call you from New York?
Then I'll go to New York. and in all honesty, that's where this money is going to go to. I mean, basically, it's going to be me going to wherever you're at. I'll meet you someplace at a restaurant, and we'll sit down. We'll talk about the books. If you have any questions, or if you have any questions about how I made the books, or you need any hints, if you're making a book yourself, I'll be there to answer anything you need that I can.
Nice. It's always good when we can sit down, especially for aspiring creators, to be able to sit down with other creators and kind of go through the stuff and talk about what you've learned and their processes and what your processes are, and kind of how they can kind of hone their skills. It's good for that. Now, is his do you know happen to know the scale? I was curious, let's see. I'm trying to see if there's a size in this one. Is that going to be on a regular size? Do you know what size this particular piece is?
I think it's 11 by 17.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not bad.
I mean, I have to double check, but I believe the PTSD was 11 by 17, and I think
it was. Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if he had. I wasn't sure if this was one of the things that he had maybe painted digitally or painted, traditionally, and then just kind of shrunk down. So I was curious about this one, if it was which way that one was. So,
Man,
well, I know
he should enter this into an art show,
right? And half of his stuff is amazing. Just looking and seeing his portfolio, it's so exquisite. And the funny thing is, he loves to do interiors, and it's so much different than his covers.
Yeah,
that is true. That is very true. So that's a nice piece to have as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So again, people, there's original interiors you can get and original cover pieces you can get. So check that out.
Stretch goals.
Got to have stretch goals, man. Stretch goals are where it's at.
And definitely, we started off with this stretch goal. We're going to add some mini prints of the covers and some other items whenever we get closer and whatnot. But we definitely have our start to everything.
Do you want to kind of go over this section? Because I know you make a comment about the Killing Joke in here, which is a huge Batman title.
I'm trying to read it. I can't exactly read it on my monitor. But yeah, I definitely, whenever I was thinking of this story, I really wanted to pay homage to the Killing Joke. I wanted to that unique kind of twist and blend and a little bit of that terror that was put into it. I don't know if you're familiar with Killing Joke, but it really was the Joker trying to basically say that any one person could turn if having one certain situation just horribly impacted them. So it was my intention to kind of do the same in a different unique way.
I always love the twist and ties there about when they kind of go back to the Red Hood and they kind of
Yeah.
go into why all that happened. They just started. They just put out a Red Hood figure, which is an
Yeah.
awesome figure to have. And then also too with the aspect of the Joker. I'm a big Joker fan. You can kind of see, I don't know if you can see behind me, but there's actually a Joker with his arm propped up on one of my laptops. The ones from Toys R Us, the bigger one, and I'm a big Heath Ledger fan, so that was just a great one to have. But the other one too is all the way back to the series where the Joker bashes Robin in the head.
Right.
All the way back to that is kind of a that, and then to have the Killing Joke stuff, and that's good comic history there, man.
Yeah, that Killing Joke was, I mean, it was so impactful and so controversial with what he did to Batgirl and how he was tormenting Commissioner Gordon, and that was
Mhm.
really his thing in the whole Killing Joke. That he was really trying to get Commissioner Gordon to kill him, and it really took Batman to step in, but also at the end, you didn't know really where Batman went with it.
Yeah. Yeah, good one to have as a reference to pay homage to for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, we talked a little bit about the creative team. We'll kind of run through it real quick. Um, Paul, of course, with again PTSD, Bushibu, and then of course now, Cryptic Haze. And then what was the anthology that you said you'd put PTSD in? That is
It was called New Year, New Stories, and it had about 15, I think, stories into it. Other people that had were new creators like myself, and we all got together and wanted to put out an anthology to kind of get our stories out there, because
nice.
it's kind of tough at the moment to kind of sell yourself. So we were trying to help each other sell all the stories.
And that's anthology is always a definitely good way to do that. So and then we've got San, and then again San's been with you since the get go. So
Right. And then we also have the letter McLean McGuire, who helps with just about every aspect of digitals and graphics, especially on the books. And he's part of the Charter Comics, who has been pushing and helping me along the way as well.
good deal.
And of course, Jeff Mute. Jeff Mute's, my best friend. I think from the beginning, he originally started on the interiors of Bushibu. Unfortunately, there was a lot of scheduling conflict, and he was starting his own book as well. So, but I mean, he's been by my side and helped me and advised me along the way, and obviously done some amazing covers for me.
Yeah, he definitely has. And again, like I said, with Charter and having people they're like McLean and stuff, that also helps as well. And then you have your editor there, Chuck Panu. Chuck's a good friend of mine, so he's spot on as an editor, and has been several books. We're doing one of his other books coming up. Beguile 3 is coming up. So
and Elisa and Brian are kind of new at editing, and they're kind of following Chuck's lead. He's kind of helped them out and showed them what
nice.
we're all doing. So it's kind of a big group effort. We're not only just doing this book, but we're gearing for the next book and the book after that as well.
Yeah. So yeah, Charter Comics is helping out, and then then we're helping market as well. So it's definitely a group effort. Getting you out there and getting you noticed. So good deal, good stuff, man.
Yeah. And like I said, I was kind of hurried whenever I was doing this. I was new to the whole con stuff, and then jumping from doing a tour of about 3 or 4 cons into jumping into this campaign. I didn't exactly know what my schedule was going to be like, and now I'm kind of just trying to make up ground. Like I said, we might actually have a surprise cover coming in.
Okay.
We definitely do have some add-ons going to be added to this, and like I said, the closer we get to stretch goals, we've got a few plans for those as well.
Awesome. Well, thanks for spending some time with us and going through your project, and we'll help get the word out there. And again, we'll be simulcast to all the different places you saw. And we wish you the best, man. We're gonna keep pushing at it. So,
Thank you much. And like I said, I always feel like I'm family with Ink.
well, I appreciate that. Yeah, that's what we want. We want you guys to be able to come in anytime, do what we can for you. So again, I'm proud to have you back on the wall behind us for the Inked Family wall. So we'll be getting some more of your books out there soon. So always a pleasure, sir.
Thank you.
All right, take care. It's always fun hanging out with Paul and seeing what he's got up his sleeve and coming out with. So
Isn't it always funny how the temperature of our environment always leads back to the premise of the show, comic writing.
it really does, and that was when the title was being kicked around. It was something that right when COVID had hit.
You muted yourself.
Yeah, I was in the middle of a cough, so I figured I'd catch that mute real quick, and I wouldn't cough in everybody's ear real quick, and then I just kind of left it on. See, that's the wonders of live. But it was the whole comic writer thing kind of came about in the beginning of COVID time. So we're right at again the next show is going to be the 1 year anniversary of comic writer,
Oh, wow.
and it was the kind of thing to where I mean right after that we're on the 40 39, 40. I think this is the 41st episode that we just did, or in the middle of right now. So we're right on the road to 50. And then there'll be another celebration at 50. So we're going to do something fun for the 1 year anniversary. Then we'll do something again fun for the 50th show. But it was just sitting around, and everybody missed the camaraderie of a con. Cons were all shut down when we first started doing the show.
They're still pretty non-existent.
Yeah, they're pretty kind of sketch right now, right? So, and the ones that are, I mean, there's a lot of different things you got to go through to be in one and to be at one, and as a vendor and as just a person showing up, right?
Yeah.
So, but that's what it was. We kept talking about the camaraderie of the cons was going, and then the word just kind of comic and camaraderie got slammed together. A little portmanteau there, and I said, I wonder if anybody has that word. And looked it up on the net, and it wasn't. So I immediately grabbed the word and then started playing with it. And then the aspect, like you said, just keeps coming back every show. Like everybody's kind of got that. And the family atmosphere is what we want, right? We want for creators to get there. You guys have actually started doing some collaborations back and forth, and we love seeing that because the more people that come together, the more collaboration that can happen, the more everybody grows. And that's the whole point of it. That's why the wall you see just keeps growing behind us, is just because everybody's kind of pinging off each other, and that vibe is there, that creativity is up, that energy's there.
Absolutely. And as far as like writers go, like I'm not a great artist. Like right now I'm doing some stick figure stuff, which is a really cool concept, but I'm just kind of playing around with like fundamentals and basics. But it's fun for me. It's more therapeutic. But however, like when it comes to the real comic stuff, like when I met Paul and we did our first episode, and then he did a repeat episode on comics and Pop-Tarts.
Yep.
Well, I ended up meeting Jeff through him, and Jeff has a cover on Wild Own, and I was able to meet some more people through him, and I've got artists like everybody's sharing resources.
That's what it takes, man.
That's because if you don't have those resources, you won't get anything out there, like the anthology stuff. So comics is a DIY kind of atmosphere, but it's also a collaborative one. So networking is a superpower everybody should have.
It is. It really is. And that all came about, like I said, when we did that and people started pinging off each other, it just kept growing. And that was the whole thing, is to keep bringing other people on and talk about it and keep it growing and growing and growing. Now there's so many of the different artists that are doing covers back and forth for each other. There's so many different creators that are trading off like you guys and collaborating and coming up with more stories. If we at some point are feel in the same kind of category, I kind of feel like it's like 6 steps away from Kevin Bacon, right? Like I want at some point to be where all these different things can say, you know what, we met through comic writer, we met through doing stuff on Inked, or we, and can see that commonality connection. And that's just been growing and growing and growing. Like I said, all these different ones, there's several of them we can pull off and say, this person's now working with this person's working with this person. Hey, this letterer moved over from here and they're working on this book too.
The thing that ties them together are the arms of Inked marketing.
There you go. The octopus is on there. People go, why'd you put an octopus for your logo? And I'm like, because it just, that's what you have to have as far as to create a book. You have to have all these arms to pull all this stuff in. And then you have to be agile like an octopus and have all these arms to go ahead and market yourself out too. So, and of course, there's inked as in inking a book. There's inked as in inking, a deal. So it just kind of, the more we started playing around, I was like, there's a natural name. And then I'll throw this up here, just the whole, think inked, the ad firm built by creators for creators. And we just got off a phone call last night with a group, and they were excited because of stuff we talked about, because we're all creators. We knew what they needed. It was, we've all been there. We've all been through those certain things, and we know how to navigate the water. So they were pretty excited about that.
And it's the only quiet creature to hold that many hats.
Yeah, and the fun thing about, hey Rudy, our studio dog just joined us. He always sleeps at our feet. Hey, what's going on? So
it's about time to get off.
Yeah, he's like, hey, what's going on? It's time. I got to go outside. I got to get some food. What you're doing? Well, like I said, it could be worse because the other dog had to go get his manhood taken away. So he's chilled out. He's totally wiped out.
This is not the way.
This is not the. He was always the saddest look, man. When I picked him up, oh, it was sad. It was, and he's got the cone of shame on, right? So it was like added insult to injury. He was he's not feeling it, but it's so we're going to be keeping an eye on him tonight. But it was and he's got the cone on for like 2 weeks, man. So like I just can't. I keep looking at him. He's like, man, why'd you put this thing on my head? First you took my manhood, and now I got to wear this lampshade. So this is not a fun moment for him.
Well, check it out. Shameless plug here, real quick. So
go for
this week on my solo episode of Comics and Pop Tarts, you can go check us. You can go check me out at comics and the letter and pop-tarts.com. I'm doing a giveaway right now for a digital version of the Venom Let There Be Carnage. So there's a feature on my website where you can leave a voicemail. So I'm going to be picking a voicemail at the end of the month, and I'm going to feature that in my episode. And that hand-chosen person, once I reach out to you, you leave your email list. You got to sign up for it. I'll email you the digital code, and you get a free version of Venom Let There Be Carnage.
Well, definitely slide me a graphic for that, and we'll get it in the anniversary show. So
sweet,
that will be definitely a good place for that. Well, let's run through. We're talking about we talked about that. There's all these different books happening, right? You can check these all out, especially all the ones we're talking about. Paul's book and some of these others at inkedpub.com. That's going to be your main resource to go ahead and check all these books out. So again, inkedpub.com is where you want to go, and we want to say a big congratulations to a book that just hit record numbers for the creator. So Jack Holder is pretty excited that his book was able to pull such numbers, and they got it funded, and they're very excited about that book. He's coming up with some more right around the corner. So again, look for some more creations from Jack Holder. But we just want to say good congratulations that he got where he wanted to go with that book. The next book on the list is this book for The Killing Machine, and The Killing Machine, and I've got to update this because we just unlocked the Warlash part. So you're going to get 2 bonus books with this book. Again, the thing funded right out of the gate, man. It funded less than 8 hours, and then right off the bat, it unlocked Fractured Shards, and then it just unlocked the stretch goal number 2, which was for that stretch goal change for the Warlash book. So that's out there now. You can check that out, and we're going to run through a quick video to show you a little bit more about that book. There's still 3 or 4 days left to it, so you can slip in there and not miss out. So check out real quick a little bit about the Killing Machine. It's let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. Awesome book for first-time creator Sean Hainsworth, and he's got some other books that are right around the corner from coming out. One of them's already starting to get circulated out there, and that one's going to be on the Zoop platform. So be on the lookout for Woodstake. And Woodstake is if a vampire had descended on Woodstock, and what kind of things would ensue from that. So be on the lookout for that one, brought to you and through the Zoop platform. So you're just going to start to see ads circulate around out there. He's got about should be around probably March the 1st when that book's going to launch. So be on the lookout. The other book we want to talk about real quick, it's one of the sponsors of the show, is Amerikaiju, and you're going to want to check this book out because there's 6 books out of this that you can get. 1 through 3, it funded a little while back, so those have been released, and then now he's working on 4, 5, and 6 for this one. And it's, Ike is battling these kaiju, and they've come to the town of Precious to take over, and it's only up to him to make sure that doesn't happen. And I want to show you real quick. Edgar's a toy designer, so what you're going to get is this really awesome. You get this really, this figure is huge. I did not expect this when I first got the 1, 2, and 3. I was expecting like a little Star Wars size kind of kaiju to come in, and then this bad boy came in the mail, and it comes in some really cool 70s retro packaging. I love the coloring to this one. It's got this this kind of
candy.
Yeah, it's the cotton candy mixed to it. There's another one that sold out. The tier that Ink sponsored just blew out the water, and that was the one that you could get with the ink. That's the multicolor. And then there's some other versions out there. So if you keep going back to it, there's all these different sets of colors out there for these different podcasts that are sponsoring his deal. So you're going to want to see that.
If you go to AmericaijuComic.com, you could also get another one too, and you can get the first 3 issues.
Yeah,
I detail the first 3 issues, not in great detail, but if you don't know what Amerikaiju is about and you'd like to know, I have a blog up that covers a review of the first 3 issues, which is volume 1 of Amerikaiju. You can go to comics and the letter N pop-tarts.com and go to my blog section and check it out. There's a link to the campaign in there and to AmericaijuComic.com.
Yeah, go check it out, guys. You're going to want to see. And Mike did a great job with the review, and you guys check it out because it's a lot of fun, man. It's a lot. It is. The first 3 books were always fun, and then when you put together 4, 5, and 6, I was like, oh man, this is just
combine the love of 80s toys with like our 90s cartoons, and then gave like some VR inspiration from like the video game world and the current market, and it's totally tailored for kids. But as adults who grew up seeing the evolution of all these different things that we've liked in nostalgia, it was a joy to read the first volume. I can't wait to read the second volume as well.
That is definitely spot on. That is definitely spot on the way that goes together. The next one up is a book that's out now, and this book again funded right out of the gate. And then this also got a Projects We Love as well. And you can see what Summer is what they call a Shadowmancer, and she wields the power of shadow. And this guy that she's got backed up against the corner is a tattoo artist that she's got to kind of figure out some information from. So she backs him against the wall, right? And she's got to give him the what for. I love that image. That's one of the images that we keyed off of right away. And then this is the other one that gets me. This image of her just giving him the smackdown. I mean, that's just a cold,
like one of her bosses too. It's like.
You can feel the hit right there. I was like, with his lips all pushed back, I'm like, oh yeah. I said, I felt that hit, and just the whole impactness of it was really fun. And then another one I'm about to bring up is the one that you're going to see now is the other ad that's floating around out there, and this is the ad that shows the fact that it won a Projects We Love, and that's the kind of another standoff that she's up against. And there's a lot of amazing. I mean, you get 6 books with this,
I know.
And
there's a lot of campaigns like that happening.
Well, what happened with this one was like a lot of other books that there was paper holding things up, and of course the fulfillment and everything was held back. Yeah. So this was a book that we were supposed to release last year, and it didn't happen. So that gave him an opportunity to write 2 more books. So that's why you see some of the older ads have the 4 books, and now it's up to 240 pages worth of information, and we call 240 pages of mayhem. And then of course, we had the interview with him, and that you have as well about he throws the words in for free. It's all you're buying the mayhem and the art, and you just get a chance to throw everything else in.
Yeah, in fact, that episode just dropped tonight.
Yep. You can check it out. We're gonna add that into rotation. You can check that out. NSC Roadshow. You can check out Comics and Pop Tarts. You really got to check out some of the stuff Mike's doing over there. And we just have we have fun doing this show together. And then that's his solo show. So you definitely got to check it out and give it some love. And here is a little bit more. It's kind of fun because you get to see now what that whole that hit looks like, animated. So here is the intro video for Shadow's Daughter. Now here's a fun one. This is Minky is when we start to follow the series. Minky is kind of what I would kind of consider the kind of like the arms dealer that kind of can get you really anything you want. You know, he's the guy you go to for whatever you want. He's like the guy that's in that last with Black Widow. You know, she always goes to him for all these different things, and he produces any helicopters, guns, a place to live, whatever. That's kind of what Minky is, and he's the fun little Russian. And here's when right after it funded, here was the little video that came together for talking about it.
It's already funded in 30 minutes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now we unveiling many cool bonus things, what we tell you about very soon, like stretch goals and those kind of things.
So Minky's fun. It's fun to have a spokesperson, right? And you know, and then we just went through tonight. Went through the book, you know, Cryptic and talk about all the different stuff. I got a chance to hear from Paul Gomez about the book, and got a chance to see the video that him and his son put together. So that's always a fun one. And then I think that pretty much there's another couple of books coming out right around the corner that you're not going to want to miss. Again, like I said, there's going to be the Woodstake book coming out. And then the list just goes on and on. It's just, if you keep going back to inkedpub.com, that'll let you in on all the different books that are coming out. And it's just, man, we just thought January was full. And that was because some of the books that spilled over from last year. But February is just going to put January to shame. I mean, it's just book after book after book coming out in February. And then another, there is probably right now, looking at the board, there's probably about 20 books or so, 18 to 20 books in process, and they just keep coming, and people are excited, and everybody's jazzed, and it's just fun to see all these books come together. We're really excited about that.
Really spicy.
It is, man. Your February is going to blow up, and then of course, like I said, right after that, you're going to see a lot of stuff going on. March, February, April. We're at book schedule all the way through May right now, so
awesome.
It's just, the hits keep coming, and like I said, it's nice to get recommendations too. We've had some really good recommendations come through, and that makes the whole team feel good, right? I mean, they like what they see, they like what's going on, they keep coming back, and we're happy about that. That's what we want. We want people to, again, feel the Ink family love, to be able to come in, great letterers on the team, which is Mike's one of them, Chuck's one. They both do extremely awesome editing work. Okay. And I say that because somebody deemed us the other day, they called us the comic funding Avengers. And I thought that, I was like, well, when I think about that, the team is kind of all the best of the best, and then great artists on the team, great animation, members on the team. Morgan's one of the animators and does an awesome job. So the animations are coming through a company that we formed called Fallout. And Fallout Studios, if you took a DJ and a creative guy and put them together, and what would they come up with? And there you go. You see some of the stuff that's coming out of there. And these animations have kind of become a staple for a lot of Kickstarters. And it's fun. I can't wait for we get a chance to get our hands and animate Wild Oni. That's the one that Mike has coming out. Yeah,
it's looking good. So I got the last 3 colored pages this week.
Nice.
I'm gonna put those together, and we're gonna tap SK and see what he can do with the lettering, and then after that, we got the artist pages on Monday.
Yeah, and that's and ESK is just an awesome letter. If you want to, because lettering is its own thing. People, it's kind of the unsung hero. Lettering can make or break your book, and to have him come into a book, and we recommend him all the time to do work for people, and he gives it a different feel. Like there's already the sequential is one thing. But then when you actually, his style of lettering kind of is almost sequential in that sense, to where he's adding different things into it to draw you from one panel to another. It's a work of art.
I gotta finish reading a few scripts for Desertscape Film Festival. I'm a reader for them out of Ohio. This weekend, I'm gonna tidy up the script and send you a copy of it.
Nice.
And then send a copy to the artist. That way you can get that over to SK and see if he's got time to do the lettering.
Yep.
We can talk about rates and all that fun creator stuff.
The fun creator stuff. Yeah, business.
Fun to create, man. When you start rolling out that spreadsheet and adding up prices, you realize that creating costs a lot more than just your time.
It does. Well, that's what I tell people, and I said, you really got to kind of give it its due, and you really got to kind of look at things. And it is a business. Don't ever let anybody say that, oh, comics is, get in. No, comics is a business. And you got to look at it that way. And you got to see, like you said, look at a spreadsheet. What all do you have involved? What do you need to produce? When you're putting a Kickstarter together, you got to kind of figure out, okay, my funding is this versus my printing versus, okay, if I have this funding goal over here, what is my book price to get me there? Because you don't want to open up this gorge. I've seen so many people open up this huge gorge and they put this huge funding goal and too low a price on a book. And I told a creator the other day, I said, do you realize you have to sell 750 books as a brand new creator? You have to sell 750 books to just make your goal. I said, so think about that for a second. I said, you either need to move your goal down or move your book price up. If that's your funding goal and that's what you need to have, that's understandable. Yeah. But your book price needs to elevate. That way you can have to sell 400 or 500 books versus 700, 800 books. I said, you're setting yourself up. So that's just some advice out there for everybody. Just make sure you go over those things. And then don't cover crazy sometimes. Sometimes, when especially just when you're getting into the business, an extra cover or two is cool. And that's kind of enough. You don't have to go 18 covers, just getting in, because you're going to end up paying more in covers than you are in just producing the book. So I always tell people, watch that.
That goes for independent creators too. Like, even if your book made $4,000 and you only asked for $2,000, that doesn't mean your next goal you should set at $4,000.
That's another thing people do.
Those backers aren't guaranteed to come back. That just means you had a really good product at one time. But what if you change somebody on your creative team?
Yep.
I mean, that's one of the reasons that pulls people in. I mean, what if your cover artist were somebody in the business?
Yeah. All factors. Yeah. Well, there's, and again, dial us up. We have a guide that we put out there for you, and you can check it out, and we can sit down and talk about, the intricacies of what it takes to do this. And I talk to people that you can watch just the mouth dropping. Man, I didn't know that much went into it. I'm like, oh yeah. So there is so many different things to think about when putting these together. You can't rush it. You have to think it through. You have to figure out where you want to be, and then we plot how to get there. It's not just a pulling a number out of the air. I've talked with Marvel artists before that want to get into the self-publishing business, and they pull out this number up here. They're like, yeah, that's what I want. I said, but how many books have you done before? Oh, this is my first one.
Did you buy Marvel on the way out the door?
I was like, the guy literally was like, he said, well, this is what I get paid at Marvel, so that's what I need to get for my book. I was like, you need to work through this a little bit. We need to kind of talk through and really, there's ways to dial in that. We talk through that with people. Here's where you need to be. This is where you're at. How much it takes to produce your book, and then kind of break that down for them. We have charts that we go down and say, okay, this is a fair market price. This is a fair market price. Okay, you have a little bit of room here. What are you looking at? Are you going to, are you going to edit it yourself? Or are you going to do the lettering yourself? Yeah. If you do, let's see some samples. Does it hold up? I mean, there's tons and tons and tons of stuff to talk about with people. So.
People coming from the big main two publishers or even from like Boom or Dynamite or something, a lot of them don't realize that they might actually have an audience. And one of the ways that creators of that caliber are tapping into that audience, aside from crowdfunding, is like having a Substack or a Patreon, where you actually invest time in connecting with that audience instead of just going straight to Kickstarter with something that you created that has nothing to do with the Marvel, DC, Boom, that footprint, and just like offering it. They might have liked you on the project that you were with that publisher, but that doesn't mean they're going to like anything you do after that.
Exactly. Well, they kickstart for several different ways, right? They either kickstart to raise money to finish the book, or they have the book finished and they're paying themselves back, or it's a test to see just what the market's if they're gonna like it or not. It's basically a giant test marketing thing. And I always tell people, you're basically pulling your table to a giant electronic Comic-Con. And I was talking with that with another creator earlier today. And he said, in the Kickstarter Awards, kind of like also like pulling up to a giant, a trade show of everything. I was like, yeah, you're right. I said, it's really more like an electronic, thrift store, right? Like everything's out there. And like we were talking about, you're setting up on Kickstarter for comics, which is like a giant con. But then on top of that, you have people, designing headphones and sunglasses and bicycle pumps and, you name it. it's all coming to Kickstarter, right? So then you have all that other noise out there to try to deal with. That's not just about what you're doing. So you
I think
know, you got to.
one day, I think one day a lot of the production in Kickstarter is going to be so advanced that if it's still around in about 10 years, that it might actually work out like movie theaters. You know how like this? Okay, so Sony released Superman, right, and then Morbius was supposed to drop right after that, but instead of dropping Morbius, I think it was supposed to come either next month or in April. They moved it back to like May, I think, and then let Spider-Man keep that slot open so they can make more money with that. It might be that way with Kickstarter in the future. Like, oh, they see these books coming out as a way to pre-market because everybody goes to that route eventually. So they pre-market, and then they'll choose what time of the year they want to drop their books. And usually the prime time is between like now and summertime. Yeah. And then everybody develops new stuff throughout the winter and then releases it in the new year.
Which is a good point, because the other part of it too is, there's seasons for Kickstarters too. So that's why the whole crew, that's why we all took off December, because December is not a month to be in the Kickstarter world. It's just not. But here's another book I want to throw up real quick. Shout out to Travis Gibb. This is one he's got right out called Granite State Punk. And that's, again, as far as stories go and people going through things, this guy's going through a lot. And you check it out. He's got, I think he's got a few days left. I think you can just about clip it in there.
6 days, I believe.
Yeah, it's so, again, check out, go to Kickstarter, look up Granite State Punk. Travis is one that's been out in the business for a long time, and he's got a lot of books to offer out there. And you can pick up some of his other works as well. But again, check that book out, because he was on a show a couple shows ago and talking about the book. So you go rewind and go over to comicrodery.com and check that out. And let him tell you about the book. The crazy thing was, he came on the show, and he's such a trooper, because he came on the show and he was at the hospital.
In the hospital.
Yeah. And I was like, your wife's going to kill you, brother. I said, and my wife, jokingly said, she goes, I better be in like a coma. It's okay if you do a show while I'm in a coma. But if I'm like she was in a car wreck, and he had this really cool reverb echo going in this like mausoleum looking place, because he was down in a different wing of the hospital where it was quiet. And it was very foreboding, and great show. Travis has a lot of energy and a lot to talk about, and a lot of works and stuff. So you guys go check it out. It's basically it's a love letter, right? It's back to, he talked about the fact that it's kind of going back to his hometown, and there's landmarks in there they talk about, and there's other things that he keys into. So you definitely go check it out. So I didn't want to miss that one. That's one that we want to kind of throw in there to make sure. Like I said, it has a few days left, so go check it out. And we're going to wrap up and get out of your ear and go have some more fun, exploring some more comics and helping some more creators, and just enjoying life, man. That's what's we're having a blast. We're loving the vibe that people are bringing, and just book after book after book, and just a lot of fun. There you go. Next show again is going to be our anniversary show, and what's going to be cool is that particular show, I was able to bring back one of my influences, which is Morris Fuselayer. And Morris was one of my teachers back in high school that I still keep up with.
Nice.
Wonderful artist. We're going to talk about some of the works that he's doing, because he's been inspired to he kind of left the teaching field and the art field for a while, but he's now back. And some of the stuff that he's been producing, he helped produce one of the backdrops for the Voodoo Lounge, which is one of the shows that's fixed to come out there for us. And beautiful, beautiful piece. We'll talk about that during the show. We'll show some of his new stuff during the show that's coming out, that piece and some others, and then kind of talk about kind of his path as an artist. And great musician, great artist, and a lot of time, it also kind of reminds me of Morgan too. Morgan's again both. He's a great creator, great musician. Definitely pick up that show too. And go check out what he's got to say. Both check on Pop Tarts, comics and Pop Tarts, then check out the Comic Camaraderie. Both a lot of fun times talking about stuff.
Shop. We all have shows.
We all have shows, and that's what's cool. We also like this. We also jump on each other's and go together and talk and stuff, and it's just good times. And then again, Chuck's book's coming out here before too long, Beguile 3. So you don't want to miss out on that one. And I won't go into which title it is, but there's actually 2 books that I'm getting murdered in here shortly. So
nice.
I get my first death scene. I was so excited. I was so excited to get murdered in a book. And then I was like, not one book, but the other was like, hey, we got a death scene coming up. I'm like, I'll take it. That's it. I'm just kill me now. But we always look
I
at
want
each
the
other
panel
and
so
say,
we can make a meme.
exactly. Oh yeah, we're gonna have some fun with it. We're gonna have a lot of fun with it. One of them, one of them's pretty close to coming out. The other one's gonna be a little bit, but we're definitely have some fun with that. I'm gonna try to do my best to pull the original art from it and throw that
Do
up on
you
the
get to
wall.
choose how you die?
Yes.
Nice.
I got the chew. One of them I did, and one of them is actually okay. One of them you'll see on previous shows that I pull, and I didn't. I should have grabbed it, but I like knives, and it's just I've always collected knives, and I got
He's
this
been
huge.
stabbed in a former life. He
I
remembers it
do
so
with
well.
my own Bowie knife. That's how I go down. So I've got this huge Bowie knife that I got. I didn't get it on when my wife and I got married. We got married in New Orleans, and then we went up to Tennessee to a cabin, a beautiful cabin in the woods for our honeymoon. Well, and going through all the different shops in Tennessee and looking around, and there's a Tennessee Knife Works. It's this 4 or 5 story building. It's beautiful. And I collect all kind of stuff. Right, that's a bug I got from my grandma and my mom. And there's down the bottom. It's called the Relic Room. And in the Relic Room, you can collect all kind of stuff, fossils and old guns. And I've got actually a small old Bible about the same size as like the book the guy had in Dances with Wolves. Real kind of small,
Yeah.
and it's a Civil War Bible, which is it's a cool little collector's piece. Well, and I picked up some fossils and some other things, and but there's this Bowie knife there, and I couldn't fly it back on the plane, right? I couldn't pull this, a 10-inch blade Bowie knife with me, so beautiful wooden handle. And I told myself if it was there when I went back for our 1 year anniversary, I would grab it because I was driving that time, and it was they had it still. They had still either had that one there or another one there like it, and beautiful piece. Well, it pops up from time to time in the shows, right? It just kind of becomes a talking piece. And then when the creator saw it, he's like, "Oh, we gotta put that into the script." And then it kind of grew from there. He called me up. He's like, "Hey, man, we're thinking about having a death scene, and we're thinking about using that knife." I was like, yeah, "Go for it." He's like, "It's probably going to be on you." I'm like, "That's just gold. That's just do it." And he started laughing, and that's what's going to happen. I'm gonna bite it with my own knife. And then the other scene that's coming up is a space show and space book, and I get wiped out, in a fighter plane, which is what a way to go. He said, "You got your choice of this, and this, and this is the." I was like, "Fighter plane. It's got to be. I've got to have my Luke." X-wing kind of moment, and I've got to bite it. I've got to bite it in my X-wing kind of thing. So
no matter how many people died in space in Star Wars, it always seemed like they had just enough to get the job done.
Exactly.
Like they went in with 5, 4 blew up, but it's like they still had like 3 more. Like there's a bunch of backdrop characters that you don't get to see.
Exactly. Well, I like the fact that in the first one, right? Of course, he misses the first time, right?
Yeah.
You see him go off, and it's like, oh no, I didn't make it. And then I'm gonna try it again. And of course, he doubled. I'm like, really? He's got to, he.
Yeah, that's
totally,
when the other pilots die. Those deaths are on you, Luke.
Yeah, you're like, man, couldn't you have just done it the first time? We all go home. Sorry, George Lucas, I love you to death, but could we not just gotten the first time quality right? Could we have not just gotten the job done? Just blow the thing up and leave. But yeah, it's fun. I wonder if that was. I wonder if that was a rewrite. I've often wondered. Did they test market it? Did they like blow it up the first time? People, well, yeah. Or they go, man, that was too easy. You really got to make it work for it. Yeah, I'd love to
reach out to the ranch.
Yeah, and say, hey man, look, you got to give us the goods.
You sold your IP. You got a lot of time on your hands.
You can talk about this. We won't tell Disney. Shh. We'll be quiet. You just what's the real? How'd this really happen? I got to say, it's probably going to go on my birthday list. But something he said he'd never do. He released all of them on 4K. Like you can buy the whole block.
Oh yeah,
with bonus footage in the 4. It's ridiculous, but it's. He said he'd never do it.
March. They were because of COVID. The delay for the release of the Lego Star Wars Skywalker trilogy was delayed, and this is it's got all the games in it. Like
wow,
from 1 to all the way up until the most recent one. I think it was The Last Jedi.
Okay.
I don't know if you got current consoles, but as a Lego enthusiast such as myself, I'm super excited because I played the last one they had, and I got all the characters, which is like it's like over 120, like all the
Wow.
tutors in the game. It's like 40 hours playing this Lego game, but
See,
it
I
was
was,
every
and
of
you
my
see me,
childhood Star
you
Wars
see me kind
experience.
of, you see me kind of racking around in the chair. I was at the store about 2 hours before the episode, and before we started shooting, and my back just locked up. And I was in the toy section looking through stuff, and I had just looked at the Lego Star Wars stuff, the X Wings and some of the other, and I was checking those out, and then I was looking at some other stuff, some Batman figures and other figures, and just my back just literally grabbed so hard, I dropped what I had in my hands. It literally I just dropped it, and I told my wife, I was like, okay, when you get done, honey, we need to probably swing by the chiropractor on the way home, and he twisted me in some sort of pretzel and got me kind of halfway where I can sit up again. I thought I was going to be sitting in the chair like this the whole episode, like, hey, welcome everybody, I'll be leaned over the side. But I love the Lego movies. I love the Lego games. I've played some of the Lego games. Console wise, though, I don't have the current stuff. I have a lot of the retro stuff. So in front of me, where the TV's at for the big screen for the show, there sits an Atari 2600 that my wife got me for Christmas. And if you guys have been tuning in the shows, you've been hearing the saga, literally its own saga about that, trying to find how to get that to work on a 4K TV. Which, quick story, you can. The go between, you have to have some sort of way to transfer the signal and get an upscale to go from regular component up into a 4K system, which you'll just go up to HDMI.
So you have to buy a DeLorean, go back in time,
exactly,
VCR, bring it back to the future.
This is the part that made me feel old. Okay, I'll end with this. After I've already felt old from Mike's comment from a show, which I know he knew I was going to go there. I tell him about Atari, and he goes, yeah, my grandfather had one of those. I was like, that, like Sanford and Son, right? That hurt. Oh my God, that that hurt. That hurt deep, And we laughed, and then so I got the thing, and then I had everything I needed to hook it up, and I did some research and found out you have to, one version is you have to have a VCR. So I'm like, okay, couldn't find it in the garage, so went to Walmart. Hey man, I know I saw like VCRs like last week on sale for like $10. Where are your VCRs at? He goes, man, we hadn't sold VCRs in like 2 years. I was like, where have I been? Okay. So I go to Best Buy. Okay. First I had to get my I went there for the converter piece. They didn't have it. So I went to Best Buy and asked, I said, hey, where's your VCRs? And the guy's like, a what? Young cat, man. And I'm pantomiming. VCR, it's got the flappy door. You put the thing in, you play the video cassette. It's a square. No, man. What? A what? And of course, another guy walks up. He's like, what you need, man? I said, a VCR. I was just trying to explain to him, back in the day, they had these cassettes, these giant cassettes that you put in. It was a movie, and he's like, oh, no, man, we ain't sold a VCR in like 3 years. I was like, oh, man. So he said, I suggest you go to like an antique store or a thrift shop or something. And I had to go back to the same thrift store that she found the Atari at. And this guy had one. Actually, he had 3. He sold 2, and he had the last one hidden. And it was like, he kind of looked around. He was like, yeah, I got one. I feel like I'm in like a back alley deal or something. He goes, but it's hidden. Okay, Zelda, let's go. Let's go find this great treasure. And he goes back to and he pulls all this stuff out of the way, and he digs through, and he's got it like under a chair in his booth and behind some stuff like you'd never see it. And I'm waiting kind of like, Indiana Jones or the end scene, like the end scene of Indiana, like in the Ark, and you see all the gold rays, or like Pulp Fiction. It also sounds like Pulp Fiction too when they open up the box and there's the glow. So I'm expecting some sort of glow, or even some sort of nuclear cryptic, just green glow, some sort of something ominous when he pulls this thing out, and it's got dust on it. It's like blowing the dust off of it. He just been in somebody's garage. And I've been seeing them online for, I don't know, $120, $50, $50 not tested. We're not sure if it works. 90 to 100 every day. I said, man, for a VCR. And again, typical salesman, he kind of takes a big breath and he goes, I gotta have $1,750 for it. I said, so I take a breath, right? Man, if that's what you gotta have, That's just what you got to have. I can pony up 17 because everything's 50 cents more. So then we get all the way to the front, and he's, I'm not even sure if it works. And he plugs it in, he listens to it. I hear the thing. I hear you. I said, man, I don't care if the tape part works. I just need the signal part to work. So all that worked out. And I said, it'll probably never see a VCR tape, but it will be what I use it for games. So then, games, huh? Hey, I got something else in my booth. And man, I just had foot surgery. So I had to hobble back again to his booth, and I'm in a lot of pain. I'm like, man, this better be worth it. And he pulls out a switcher. If you remember the old switchers that you could put 4 different composites in, and you had buttons at the top.
Yep.
And you could pop off the label and put Xbox or whatever, Nintendo. And if they're all components. So he gave me the component, and he had like $9.50 on everything's 50 cents. Everything's something in 50 cents in his booth. So he said, man, yeah. He said, I tell you what, man, I'll put you together the deal for 25 solid. I was like, sold. So those things are probably $100 now, And so I've got across in front of me, I've got the Atari 2600, the Nintendo 64. The Nintendo's downstairs because my wife and I are testing out our skills on the original Mario Brothers game, the Super Mario that you got with the game. And I've got Zelda coming. And I've got a couple more down there. We've got more Atari tapes than anything else because I have a whole rack off to the side. There's 141 games sitting over there right now. And they're like $2 a piece on eBay right now. And it's just, we're just having fun. We're just reminiscing about old times and video games. So yeah, I haven't got the end of the newer stuff. I kind of stopped. My kids were like PlayStation 1 and 2. And so I kind of stopped at PlayStation 2. I didn't really go past that. But the games today, man, they're just so realistic. The sweat on the basketball player, and you can see the leather on the ball when he goes to shoot. And I mean, it's just ridiculous what they can do now. I'm used to 8-bit where you can kind of when you bowl, it goes.
I think the next decade is going to phase out game consoles altogether, and we're going to go to straight VR. PC game might still have a presence, but interactive with the metaverse coming out, there's just no way everything's not going to move to VR, and after that it'll be phased out. And
I think you're right, man. Well, kind of like remember in Back to the Future when they're in the cafe and they go up and they go, what's that? That's a kid's, you have to use your hands, that's a kid's game. They're used to all virtual reality stuff at that point.
Well, I mean, look at Starship Troopers, man. The retro version of football they were playing, they were like a decade away from like zero gravity space sports, in I think what was Ender's Game, the science fiction novel that became a movie. They didn't do the other two. I don't know why. I think the budget broke, but the game that they were playing was like zero gravity. It was almost like reminiscent of football.
Yeah, and I love Ready Player One too. That was a lot of fun reminiscing.
Yeah. Games are going to go in that direction. In fact, if you haven't read the follow-up novel that just came out to Ready Player One, it's called Ready Player Two. It's disturbingly accurate to what's going on in SpaceX and the Neuralink and brain interfacing technology and how that may or may not be a great thing for humanity.
Well, I was talking with a creator again earlier today about we were talking about inspirations and different things. We were talking about anime, how there was one anime track like Akita and all that stuff that we were growing up with in the 80s and 90s, right? And he was talking about like 80s and 90s anime is different than like today's anime. And he was talking about there's one particular one that was like, they had to steal spines was their thing because they could do all these robotic things, but the only thing they couldn't replicate out of the human body was a spine. So they were stealing spines and sticking them in robots to finish building the robot. And he's like, that's kind of a wild concept. Like they could do everything else, but they couldn't replicate a spine. I was like, that's kind of a common theme. Doc Ock, which is my favorite villain, Joker and Doc Ock are my two favorite villains, right? And Doc Ock, of course, had everything with his spine, right? They tapped into his spine. And then you go look at the latest Fast and Furious, and the super, villain is all about they're working on his spine all the time. So there's always kind of this, that being the central core of your nervous system. And then there's other books like the one from Stone Harbor Comics. There was spinal injuries that happened to this team, and that's how they got their superpowers. And there's all these everything kind of wraps back to that. And we had a good conversation about how those kind of things have kind of all come about and intertwined. So some really cool aspects. We're going to go ahead and wrap up the show. We appreciate you guys hanging with us. And if you want some more what you like hearing, check us out.
For more fun-filled episodes, come visit our website, www.comicrotary.com.